Hey, Presello fam, we're back. Hi, Don.
Hello,
Hi, he
Julia.
is joined, or rather, he's joining me today for another video. And basically, we're going to be talking about the difference between stocks and real estate investment. So, Don is actually part of the. What department would you say you're in, Don? Basically, he analyzes the stock or the investment. He is the numbers of Presello. He
Hmm?
thinks about the numbers. There you go. His JD is ano, I don't want to disclose his JD, but yeah, that's basically what he does for Presello. So that's why he's here. All right. So in line with that, we
Yeah,
appreciate you guys very much for liking the video that we posted before. So it was actually pretty successful in the sense that you guys liked it. So we're gonna do more, but we're gonna try to concise it a little bit since I think the last time was too long. Comment down below if you thought it was too long. So we'll try to make it shorter. We're gonna keep making it better. All right. So difference between stocks and real estate investment. Let's first start with stocks.
yeah. So, thanks, Julia, for that introduction. so, just to give you the difference between the stock market and and real estate investment. So, let's first start with stocks. I want to give you the traits of what stocks are like when you invest in them,
Mhm.
when you invest in the stock market. So, first
Okay,
off,
wait. So basically, you're gonna give traits of both stocks and real estate, so
yes,
that people
and
can compare and weigh the pros and cons. Okay.
yes, so that I can weigh the pros and
Right.
cons. And at the end, I'm going to give them my personal preference on which one I think
Okay.
is better. But my personal preference. So stay tuned till the end. Hopefully, you watch the entire
Mm-hmm.
video. And so,
Mm-hmm.
first off, when it comes to stock investments are easy to start. Basically, you just need to go to a stockbroker, or there are lots of online apps. There are lots of brokerage companies that are
Yeah. Even
online.
apps today are into stocks. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I noticed.
you get ads for stocks investing.
I get ads. I
Ah,
do.
it's because you have the money. Or they think you have the
No, no.
money.
I think the internet knows they're involved in real estate or something like that, so I get ads on the stocks.
Okay. So
Anyways.
so that's the first one. That's the first pro. It's easy to
Mm.
start. And
Yeah.
um the con of that is, if it's so easy to start, sometimes people start it without thinking what they're going to do with the stock market. So that's the bad thing. They don't do their
Right.
research, they don't do their
Right.
study, they just start investing. And the second trait of
People get into it impulsively just because it's easy to start.
yes, 'di ba? Parang nakita mo lang friend mo kumita, sumunod ka naman kagad.
Mm.
Hindi ka naman nag-isip.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Hmm.
All
And
right.
then the second
So,
trait of the stock market is that it is a very liquid investment. So when I say liquid, it is a paper investment. So when I say paper, I mean you become an owner of a company on paper, but you don't really own the building of Jollibee. You don't
yeah.
really own the franchise down the street. You just own a part of
Yeah,
the company on paper, and
on paper.
because it's very liquid, just in case you
Mhm.
need the money, you can sell the stocks that you have immediately in the stock market. So, for example, you
Yeah.
wanted to buy a boat, or you wanted to buy a luxury watch, which I said you shouldn't buy. Then you can just sell your
But let's just
stocks,
say
and
you
then
wanted to buy one.
no, I said I
So
wouldn't
you
buy one.
just,
So,
yeah, no, I mean, let's just say you did.
okay,
And
let's
you
say you
wanted to use it
did.
for something else.
Yeah, it's easy to
So
sell.
you can
So,
easily.
yeah, it's very liquid. It's easy to sell, and of course, it depends on the type of stock. But basically, in general, it's easy to sell, and you can easily liquidate your assets. And the
Yeah.
good thing about that is that's what makes the value of it go up faster. So it's
Mhm.
not uncommon to hear every now and then, like 3 or 4 times a year, a specific stock like booming in price. You can see a stock
Yeah.
going up by the multiples of 10 or 20. There are some stocks
Mhm.
that multiply 10 or 20 times in the Philippine stock market. So that happens yearly, at least 3 or 4 times. So it happens. That's
Yeah.
the good thing. But the bad thing is liquidity makes it also easier for the price of the stock to depreciate.
Mm.
So, kung
Yeah.
mabilis yung taas, mabilis rin yung
Mabilis
bagsak.
din yung baba.
Oh, at saka doble yung sakit.
Yun lang. But
It's
yeah. Yeah,
goes
that's
up
basically
fast,
the
goes up
idea
down,
of
and
stock.
it doubles the pain. So,
Mhm.
and the reason why, and every day, Presello is also depreciating in value when you do not like the
You
thumbs up
don't
button.
smash that like button.
You should like the
So
thumbs
make
up
sure you
button.
click that like button so that so that we don't depreciate and we know that you guys are appreciating us.
Yes.
Like what I did there. Okay. All right. So that's the second trait of the stocks. So
Yeah.
it's liquid. Then a third trait
Yeah, the third trait
is
is
that there's no physical work required.
yes, there's no physical work required. Like we talk about behind the scenes, so we were talking before this
Mhm.
interview, is that
Yeah.
when you invest in the stock market, when the value of the stock goes up, you don't have to go out and lift rocks. You don't have to
Yeah.
go out to
No.
sell insurance. It just goes up because people valued it
It just
higher.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, they valued it higher, so it went up. So that's the good thing about
Mhm.
the stock market. You don't really have to do any physical work. It's easy to start. It's online. But
You literally just need money.
yeah,
That's
money
it.
and well, a licensed stockbroker, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you don't have to do the physical work
Yeah,
to
no
make it
physical work.
grow.
So
There's no
that's
physical
one
work.
of the ways that people say you can make your money work for you. Diba?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can be part owner.
That's true. That's.
Mm.
Mhm. But
And then
then,
what?
if you're letting other people do it, that also means you don't have control over it.
Yes, and that is the con of
That is the
this
con.
part.
Yeah.
So since you don't really do any physical work, you're an
Mhm.
owner, but you can't really tell the managing director, the president of the company to do this or do that as the shareholder.
Yeah.
Not unless you're Warren Buffett and
Yeah.
you own a large portion of the shares. But
Warren
no,
Buffett.
you can't do that. So even if these people run the company to the ground, you don't have any say.
You
So
don't
it
have
could
any say
happen
in it.
also.
So
If they run it to the ground and nawala lahat ng value ng stocks mo, you don't have a say.
yeah.
so,
Bye
so
bye na lang. Kaput.
yeah, kaput. So that happens. And
Yeah, that happens.
yeah, and the last trait of the stock market of stocks is it's easy to value. And this is a huge plus. So it's easy to value because the values are public. It's in the Philippine Stock Exchange. They
You
can
can
check
look it
it.
up anytime.
Yeah, they can check it online
Mhm.
every day whenever they want to. And they can figure out, ah, tumaas na pala yung stock ko. From 100, it became 150 pesos. I might want to sell it. You can do that. And you know the value because it's transparent. Everyone knows the value of it.
Everyone knows. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So that's a good
yeah,
thing.
so that's a good thing. But one bad thing about that is if you see the value every day and you can check it every day, that can make you a very paranoid person. So,
Very paranoid, very obsessed
yeah, you
person.
can get obsessed with it. I know people who look at their screens every day who don't
Not just every day, but like several times in a day.
several times in a day and they don't close their trading screens. I mean, parang nababaliw
Yeah.
na sila. You know why? You know why some
Kakabantay.
stockbrokers play video games?
Mhm.
It's because they play video
Why?
games so that they can distract themselves from looking at their trading screens.
From.
It's
I see. I
literally
see. Okay.
yeah, it's their way of
Yeah.
distracting themselves. Kaya uso sa mga traders
Okay.
yung video games. Oh, totoo yan.
I see.
Pag may
Tapos
nakausap
may
akong
mga app
trader,
pa na
usually
trading
gamer
ano,
rin sila.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So,
Well, minamarket din kasi today na ano eh, like you're a gamer, you want to stay home, ganito, ganyan, ganyan. You can also invest in stocks while doing everything, like playing games and everything. So
yeah,
I
I agree. Because
think the market's also
they're kind of related because they're
kasi
also
nga
online.
technically, Yeah, kasi technically nga naman, if you invest in stocks, yeah, you don't have to do anything eh. You invest and then you go do something else and then babantayan mo na lang how it's doing. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
why it appeals
that's
to a lot of people. That's why it's easy to start.
yeah,
It's a
but
lot of things.
yeah, and that but that's the con of it. Like for example, what you know what
It's
happened?
also the con.
Yeah, you know what happened to the
Mm.
I don't know if it's a he was a minister in Germany who committed
Mm.
suicide just recently because of the
Oh,
global disease that we've all been affected with.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this
Yeah,
global
yeah,
disease has is destroying their
yeah.
economy, and he was so stressed out he
Pressure.
committed suicide.
Yeah,
So that's the
yeah,
con of investing in the stock market because yeah, it's good that you can easily value the investment that you have, but it's also bad because you're kind of emotionally affected by the upswings and the downswings.
yeah. Because you can see it. Because it goes up and down so often that it's binabantayan mo tuloy napapraning ka. All right.
Napapraning ka.
So
Pwede ka ma-affect.
that's established.
Mm.
So those are the four traits of stocks. So it's easy to start. It's liquid investment. There's no physical work required, and you can easily see the value of it.
Ooh, nice breakdown.
Okay, so on the real estate, I remember what you said. So on the real estate investment side, naman, we have several traits actually. It's not going to be also four, but because there's a lot. But right, the first one being
The first one
Um,
is that real estate itself, like we talk about behind the scenes, is that this is a
it's a
tangible,
tangible
asset.
asset.
Yeah. So this is a type of asset which you can touch and feel. So
Literally.
literally, you know, like for example, for example, you bought the house, ano usually nangyari? You hold parties for friends. You have
Yeah.
house blessings. You
Mhm.
have you invite friends over for I don't know to watch a movie or the Super Bowl or something like that, or you
Something like
watch
that.
Netflix together.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with stocks. Di naman siguro
Yeah.
parang, Oy Julia, meron akong bumili ako shares nitong corporation, party tayo. Diba? No one does
Uh,
that.
like
Diba? Picture tayo
the
dito sa
most you can
stock.
do with the most you can do with stocks is go to your friend, oy bro, tira mo, ganda na stocks ngayon. Oo nga, and that's done. That's it. But with the house, obviously, with something so tangible, you can actually use it for physically.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
And partly
But
that's also the con, yeah.
it's also the con, yeah.
Because
Because obviously, since there's something physical in there, you also have to take care of it. Meaning, there's maintenance, there's bills, there's taxes. You have like if you're gonna rent it out, you have tenants. So there is physical or there is work involved in it because it's tangible.
correct.
You know what else needs work though?
What
Smashing
does?
that like button and hitting subscribe. Click thumbs up on this video if you like it so far.
Click
Please,
thumbs up, guys,
we
please.
appreciate it.
Yes, we really appreciate it. And
Because it lets us know that you like this video, and we can make more of this or improve on it.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, for reals. So, real estate, obviously, it's tangible.
Yeah.
So, what's the second trait that we have for real estate?
So the second trait of real estate is when you have cash flow from real estate, it's cash flow income today. So it's like present cash flow income. Unlike stocks, when you invest in it, you wait for a certain period of the time before you cash in, right? So it's all just paper assets. But in real estate, if you buy a condo or let's say a townhouse in a good location, you can actually rent it out and have a monthly income. And this can bring in positive cash flow daily. So
That's true.
so when it's
As we talked about before, actually, so you are earning from your investment from the property long term, but then you're also earning from it with cash flow nga because you're renting it out, etc. So twofold.
so you have a positive cash flow, and but related to that, the third trait, which is the con, is that starting investment in real estate is also harder.
Yeah, much harder.
It's much harder.
Because it's not like you can start investing in it with 100K. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So in real
It's-
estate, usually you have to
You
invest.
buy it.
Yeah, when you buy it, there are people who buy it cash. There are people who buy it through a bank loan. But since we're in the Philippines, what happens is when you go to a bank loan, you have to be ready with about 20 to 30% of the down payment.
Yeah.
So that's
Which
the
most
reason
of the
why.
time is,
Mm,
it's a huge number.
yeah. So you have
So it's not gonna be easy to start unless you already have the funds.
Yeah, definitely. That's why real estate has a lot of value because of the cash flow that it brings if you rent it out. But it has a higher barrier to entry.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
dahil mas mahirap rin siyang pasukan, mas marami rin siyang benefits. Yun yung napansin ko.
Yeah.
And then, one thing about real estate, that is another trait of real estate, which is number 4, I think, is it is an illiquid asset. It is an
Illiquid,
illiquid.
It's
Yeah.
a liquid.
Yeah, illiquid. So the
Just
pro
to
of it,
clarify.
yeah, to clarify. So the pro of that is since it's an illiquid asset, the depreciation of the asset is harder, and but so is the appreciation. So the thing is when the prices go down or go up, it's more steady. And when it goes down, it's actually slower. Usually it goes up. You guys have heard the saying, right? Like for the longest period of time, like walang talo pag mag-invest ka sa real estate.
Yeah.
Parang walang
Yeah.
talong investment.
Everyone's gonna say.
Kasi the reason why,
Sabi nga ni Marvin, another guy from our Presello team, diba, there's no such thing as buying bad property because time will always correct itself. I don't know if you guys know the reference, but we talked about that before. So, yeah, because nga, property, it basically appreciates.
in the long run.
If and when, in the long run, but if and when it does depreciate, not really depreciate, but when the stock markets or the markets go down, incremental lang yung pagbaba niya.
Yeah.
So it's the last to go down.
Yeah.
That's why, it being illiquid is also a pro.
Yeah, because the reason why is, for example, in the stock market, you have, for example, I have 1 million shares, and there are 1,000 people with 1,000 shares each. So that's also a million shares of, let's say, stock ABC. If I was a big investor, I have 1 million shares, and I wanted to hold my stock value because I don't want to sell it. Ayoko benta palug eh. I just keep my stock. Eh, yung mga 1,000 na investors na to, they start selling one by one. They also sold 1 million shares. And they also pulled down the stock, right?
Right.
But in the real estate market, you can't buy just 1,000 shares of this house, just one hollow block or one poste. You have to buy the whole house.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. So the buy-in is like huge. So how can there be a turnover of inventory when it's hard to turn over because of the price?
Yeah.
So it depreciates true, but it depreciates slowly, incrementally.
Slowly.
Yeah, it's not as fast as what you'd think. And actually that's
Also, people tend to not let go of property din kasi. Like, it's not the first thing they would think na kailangan nilang ibenta. In fact, it's the last. Like, if they had to lang talaga. It's also the reason why prices for it won't necessarily go down immediately.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, especially nga, sabi mo, diba, the ones who are actually, those who don't actually need the money, even in times of recession, they're not gonna sell their property. So why would prices go down?
Yeah.
Right?
So that's another
And
trait.
that protects the prices of the real estate market.
I agree. And then there's this, the con of that is you can't sell your property fast.
You also can't sell it
that's
fast.
Diba? Ironic.
Because it's such a big, because it's such a huge number. You're not just gonna be able to sell it in one day and also get the money in one day. That doesn't work that way.
It takes,
also, there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, usually if it's a bank loan, it takes like 4 months in the Philippines, 4 to 5 months. So the entire process, like moving funds and paying the down payment, the credit investigation, everything. So that's the con because it's
And
an
then
illiquid
transfer of
asset.
stock
Yeah. So
and
that's the
everything.
con
Takes
because
a
it's
while.
an illiquid asset. It takes time. So
Mm-hmm.
and number five is in the real estate market. So in the stock market, when you do insider trading, that's gonna be illegal. So for example,
Okay.
you were trading stocks and you heard that SM might invest
Mm-hmm.
might build a new mall or might
Mm-hmm.
buy some
Mm-hmm.
Walmart or something like that or international US company. When you
Mm-hmm.
use that information and it's not publicly declared, it's called insider trading. But in
Ah,
the real
that's
estate
nice.
market, in the real estate market,
Mm-hmm.
if nakibalita ka, tapos na-figure out mo na parang, na-check mo yung city plan,
Gaganda yung ano.
gaganda yung lugar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nabalitaan mo. You
Uh,
found out. You found out through chismis or I don't know, through gossip or
mm.
from people around you or
Or
through your
whatever.
contacts.
Hearsay.
Hearsay or something. And they figured out that this area is going to have an SM or an Ayala Mall. So you start buying the properties around that area, looking for the properties to increase or to rent it out to people who
Mm-hmm.
work in SM or Ayala malls. That's not illegal in real estate. That's like you're doing your
Yeah.
due diligence and it's all okay. So that's one of the pros of investing in real estate. And another con,
It's actually very good.
so
Mm-hmm.
so the sixth trait is another con about real estate is that there are chances that you can get bad tenants.
Yeah. So in the same vein as what you said earlier, na sige, sabihin natin, bumili ka ng maraming property or you started to rent out a lot of property near this said area na, whoa, gaganda yung area. It also, opens you up to some bad tenants.
Oo. May chance yun. There's
That's,
a big chance that there's not a big chance, but I'd say 1 out of 10 you'll get a bad tenant.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why when you get the tenant, it's kind of prudent to also have a property manager. Or if you don't have a property manager, you do your own credit investigation. You check the guy.
Mhm.
You ask for bank references, stuff like that. It's not a bad
Mhm.
idea. People think it's a bad idea, but I think it's
Yeah.
the right way to go, especially when you're looking for a tenant. You should always check their references.
Yeah. Just to
And
clarify, it's not actually going to lower the value of your investment. It's just that your investment return small might get delayed or what because of a bad or
yeah,
unethical tenant.
yeah. For example, if you get a bad
Yun lang,
tenant,
yun lang.
yeah, you get a bad tenant.
Bayan.
Hindi nagbayad.
Ulo.
Sisingilin mo pa siya. Di mo pa alam kung babayad siya. Di ba? Di mo pa alam kung babayad siya.
Yung mga
So,
ganun
parang,
sakit sa ulo.
yeah. So, you give yourself a big headache and at the same time, you missed out on maybe 1 or 2 months of, I don't know, leasing income,
Possible income. Yeah.
possible
Leasing.
income. So,
Yeah.
those are one of
So
the headaches.
this is a con in relation to the fact that walang ganon sa stock market.
Yes, there's nothing like that in the stock market.
Yeah.
And then, and the good thing and one of the pros about investing in the real estate market is that there will always be a need for houses.
Yeah, there's
So
always a need for houses.
yeah, so that's the reason why people are renting. That's the reason why people want to buy houses. It's because I checked somewhere. I think since January of this year, or was that late last year, last quarter, there was a study by I can't remember the name of the brokerage, but they made a study and they figured out that there was 6 million housing units demand for house. There was a need for 6 million housing units.
Mm.
So I'm not saying it's all high end or all middle end or
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah. At
low
syempre,
end.
kung maraming tao sa bansa, maraming bahay kailangan.
Yeah, and there's really a demand for it. So there's a need for six
Yeah,
million
there's a
housing
demand for it.
units.
It's a basic need naman kasi talaga.
Mm-mm.
Housing, shelter.
So that's
So
the
we need it
thing.
just as much as we need food.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's the thing. Pagka sa real estate, it's not just a investment tool. It also has a function. Diba?
It does. It does.
Yeah, when you invest in stocks, Like I said, hindi naman tayo magpapapicture sa stock ko. Halika, Julia, picture tayo. Kakabili ko na ng stock. Di ba magpapapicture na gano'n, di ba?
It doesn't
I-invite
have
ako
that
sa bahay ko. Uy, may
sentimental
house
value.
blessing kami. Punta kayo. O yung condo ko, pinapabless ko. Punta tayo. Papakain ako. Di ba? Ganun naman yun. So,
Mm.
yun.
Okay.
And
Um.
another need
Yeah.
in real estate is
Mhm.
for our viewers to also smash the like button.
Yes, please, because we need them. If not, I mean, how are we gonna continue making these videos if
No
you
more
don't like them?
videos. We're done. Tapos na Presello.
Yeah. We don't want Presello to end. Come on.
Yeah.
So the real estate market, we need each other. All right. So there you have it, fam. Again, I'm gonna break that down. So for real estate naman, investment pros and cons. The first one, of course, is it's a tangible asset. Second, it has cash flow income, like today specifically. Number three is a con. Investment is harder for real estate investment only because it's more expensive and you need to pay for it like upfront instead of like tingiting it. Number four, it is an illiquid asset, right? Meaning so it doesn't move as much as the stock market. Number five, insider trading. This is the one yung minention ni Don kanina na if you find out that this area is gonna get good, you want to buy
Insider trading.
properties around
Yeah,
that
it's
area,
allowed.
it's fine. It's not illegal. It's allowed.
In real estate.
Number six, yeah, in real estate. But in other markets,
Stock market, hindi.
Don't illegal yun.
Oh, don't
All right,
illegal
and then
yun.
number six, you have the possibility of getting bad tenants, which may not seem like such a bad con. It's just ahead. And then number seven, of course, there will always be a need for real estate. So those are the pros and cons of it. All right, so there you have it, Presello fam. So Don mentioned earlier that he was going to say what his preference was between stock and real estate. So Don, what was it?
Hindi pa ba obvious?
All night.
It's real estate. I prefer real estate. Because back in, I think we're having a problem here. So, hello? Can you hear me?
Internet?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So it's
Yeah, I can hear you.
so it's real estate. So the reason why is me personally, I had good experience investing in real estate during the 2008 recession. So I regretted not investing earlier actually. And I like the cash flow income. I like that it appreciates the value of the property at the same time. And just as a backup, I like the idea that there's an option that I can use it. So if you ask me
So for you,
personally, yeah, it's real estate.
yeah. So this is just, of course, a preference because, as you guys all know, everyone says never put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
So it's up to you how you want to deal with your money. It's just that, obviously, we're just gonna lean in more into real estate because that's the business we're in for a reason. Kasi doon talaga yung gusto. All right. So it wasn't the other way around. Oh, anyway, speaking of which, I did not mention this before. I think some of you guys are wondering why my wall looks the way it does. Tell you what, if we guys hit 1 million subscribers by this year or maybe next year even, I'm gonna do a house tour of my house. So
Wow.
that you guys can see why
Uy, gusto ko
my
yan
wall
ah.
looks like this. It's actually more interesting than what it looks like right now. This is chalk. Ano kasi yan eh, it's a matte brown wall. You can draw on it. Eh, hindi ko siya nalinis. So, yun. But then you can see the rest of my house. My room looks very different than the rest of it. My house is white. Like, everything's white. But anyways, going back. All right, so if you want to learn more about these topics, we are making another video on why the Philippine market... Wait. What's the next video on our lineup? Why the Philippine real estate market is a good investment in times of recession.
Specifically,
so we're gonna make that. We haven't yet.
But if we make that, we're gonna put the description, the link down below.
We're gonna put the link in the description or on the side of this video. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're making more content, and hopefully you guys look forward to it. Make sure you hit like so that you get, or No, make sure you subscribe so you get notified. And yeah, thank you very much, Don, for joining me again.
Thanks,
And
Julia.
thank you, thank you, Presello fam, for tuning in. And
Yeah.
remember, invest in your future. Invest with us. Invest with Presello. Bye.
Bye. Oops.
Cut mo